Hey everybody, how you guys doing? I hope you're well. Just getting ready for work here again, and as you can see, this is my little humble abode here during my work hours when we're up in camps and staying away from our actual homes and loved ones. So it's uh it's not bad. Like I say, you have to make the best of every situation, and I find that my mindset with everything, and trying to be very self-aware of the things that I need and stuff like that are always it's always an ongoing challenge to um you know keep things in that forefront of my mind so that I am not getting brought down and stuff, because uh, you know, over the past while, I have had some times when I would get drugged down, depressed, or whatever the case was, tired out, drugged down from whatever things that were bothering me, physically drugged down from working 12-hour shifts and stuff like that. And all of that combined, it's a perfect storm to just put me back into a bad mindset, and then keep me from being able to function properly, and like I should be, really. And when I say how I should be acting, who knows how I should be acting, exactly. Only I can say that. But people notice, I guess. And when I start to notice when I have things going astray in my life, then that's when I have to start to address it and go to the root causes and stuff like that. And with my addiction treatments and things that I've gone through, and quitting drinking and stuff over this past while, it's constantly asking those important questions of what I need, and how am I going to get it? What's the end game here? What do I want out of my life, and all those types of things that I was, always thought beforehand that I was doing, because I was coming to work. I said, okay, I want to get a good job. Okay, I got the good job, making half decent money, and now where do I go? I want to go to the next step, and on and on and on. But I kept on with the drinking, heavily drinking with alcohol and stuff like that, and then overlapping that with drug use, and just bad decisions and things, and all the while I thought, okay, this is just my regular routine that I am doing in order just to blow off some steam, and relax a little bit, take my mind off the troubles that are bothering me and stuff like that. But all along, I was just masking deeper issues that I was not addressing, and coming to the realization that I needed to make changes in my life. It's not always easy to do. We have to face those demons, and we have to take them out one by one. And then after we've addressed them at that point, you have to continue on as a process of maintaining that and keeping it at bay, so that I don't relapse, and all those types of things. And for me, I went to a treatment center, and at first it didn't feel like it was going to take. I was concerned with how the process was going, how I was feeling about it, and all those things. And in the process, I went to a counselor, and I said, you know what? I said, I want this to work, but I'm not sure that I'm going to walk out of here feeling that I can handle everything, and that I will be totally, I'll call them drug free. And they said, just trust the process. And so that was kind of a hard thing for me to swallow, because as it over analyzing everything and being very analytical with a lot of the things, everything that they were doing, I was questioning and trying to figure out why. And some of it didn't all make sense, but over the course of time, it did. It started to fall into place. And by the time I left there, all my problems weren't solved. I hadn't dealt with every single issue, and that's not really what treatment's about. I think perhaps I don't know if everybody thinks this way, but I think that going to a counselor or going to a treatment center, it will automatically fix everything, and that when you leave there, you're weightless and clear of everything. But that's not the case. I mean, it scratches the surface and it shows you and gives you a lot of tools on how to handle everything else. What you do after that is kind of up to you, and that's where I've been at since then. You can go to meetings with AA group. There's NA groups for Narcotics Anonymous, and there's tons of other outlets for you to go and vent and talk to people, listen. Any form, and all those things are the actions that it takes to remain sober. Um, you know, Staying present of mind and very self-aware of the things that I need to do when I need to do them, as in addressing the problems that might pop up, is one of those things that I have to also be very diligent about, because when things start to fester, when you have an idea or a thought in your mind and it starts to fester and it starts to you go down a rabbit hole, sometimes it's very easy to get sucked into things that you didn't think would really pull you back in. But it happens. It really happens all the time, and trying to just manage it the best way you can is it takes practice. Everything takes practice. That's what I keep saying constantly to everyone who asks me. Exercising my mind, it's all practice. Staying present, staying positive, and all those things, it's practice. I have to keep up on it or I lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's what they say. So it's the same thing. It's like muscle memory to me now. I don't think about drinking and I don't think about the drugs or anything like that. But everything else happening, I still get overwhelmed with problems. I still have feelings of anxiety. I still have feelings of depression. And I don't know if any of you can relate, but for me, a lot of it, sometimes it was, I feel like a part of me is missing now. Now that I don't drink, all those things, it was like an old friend sometimes, and some other people have yet talked to me about this, saying that their drug of choice, not using it now is like missing a friend, because it was so commonplace. But I don't need those friends in my life anymore. And just because I think of it that way, I don't want it. I don't want to have a toxic friend, no more than we want to have a toxic friend in our life for our day to day, because I wouldn't want to be a toxic friend to somebody else. And I don't want to have a toxic friend in my corner either, because that's just one more thing to chop the legs off your chair. And it's really not it's not serving me, and it won't serve you either. So anyhow, there's those types of things that I think about constantly. And if you're thinking that you might have a problem with alcohol and drugs, if somebody comes across one of these pages on here, and I hope that they do soon, that maybe I will be able to we could have a conversation sometime, or somebody could hear something that sparks an interest in them and plants a seed in your mind to make a change, because I know how hard it is to leave that common feeling, that self-soothing, that self-medicating with my drug of choice was cocaine. But mostly my drug of choice was alcohol, and even people say, oh well, I just drank beer, and that's what I used to say. I gave up whiskey a long time ago, and I was only drinking beer, but I drank a lot of beer. I never went anywhere as hardly without any beer with me, and it was constantly something that wherever I went, I wanted to get it and have it with me, just like as if it was medication. So there's all those things that eventually, after a while here, once you get to know me and I can share a little bit more of my story and stuff like that over the many years since I was a young man. growing up, feeling very awkward and not very much self-esteem, and just when I started drinking. The drinking was an outlet to lower my inhibitions and give me that comfort zone to be able to interact with people on a different level, and then from there it just progressed, and it's been a roller coaster ride ever since. It's been ups and downs. I've had times of heavy drinking, and then times of very little drinking, but all along, even at one point in my life, when my ex-wife now, but at the time when her and I were getting to know one another, and then early in our relationship, something had happened one night, and it scared us both, and I quit drinking that day for 4 years at that point. But I was just a dry drunk. I wasn't in it. I thought I was doing it for her and us. I thought because I was doing it because she wanted me to, but I wasn't doing it for me, and that was the problem. And then after her and I split up, I went back drinking again, and I was happy with the drinking, right? But then as things progressed, the further into my journey with my life, seeking different employment, trying to get that job that I had been dreaming about. I wanted to get this job, in the oil sands or whatever. That was kind of my thing that I wanted to try to get into. And at that time, I really didn't know how. I was just struggling, trying to get my foot in the door with different places and stuff. And then went back drinking, and then from there on, every time I'd have two steps forward, I'd have like four steps back. It was, and it was all me. I was, self medicating a lot with alcohol, and not dealing with my actual problems, being lonely and missing out on in with my kids that were out in another part of the country, and all those things that everybody goes through constantly. Everybody you talk to has something going on in their life, and what they do to console themselves, what they do to deal with things. Everybody has something different, but alcohol is very readily available, and it's not so much, it's very commonplace, right? It was a very common practice, even from my hometown, and probably from wherever you're from, that it's everywhere. It's a social event, and so it just seemed normal, right? But my normal took me to places where I didn't want to be, and I don't want to be anymore. At the time, I didn't know the difference, but yeah, I had to come and answer a lot of hard questions. Somebody asked me one time, they said, "Well, what do you want?" And I said, "I just want to be happy." And they're like, "Well, what is that? What would make you happy? You have all this stuff. You have trucks, cars, bikes, friends, all these things. What is it? What is it that's going to make you happy? Because none of that stuff is. So, what is it? You need to really look in the mirror, ask yourself the question, and say, okay, I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to be honest to myself for change, and go from there. And that's what I've been trying to do ever since. At the end of the day, I'm the only one who knows those things, and I'm the only one who can answer those hard questions. So, as long as I can come home every night when I brush my teeth, it's an act that I use as a reminder. Brush your teeth, and then that's another day sober. So, and I'm not here to preach. I'm just here to be real. And over the years, what's worked for me the best, as far as any treatment center, the high dollar treatment center that I went to, that work assisted me to go to, was great. Don't get me wrong, but it was a mindset that needed to be taken seriously, and get into it, that I wanted to do this, and there was no failure. It felt like in the war, fighting for your life. that there's no going halfway into battle. It's not picking and choosing, well, I'll do this but I'm not going to do that part. And I heard a lot of people saying that over the time, and I don't know what they were talking about, because it's all or nothing for me, and I don't want to go to battle halfway. There's no going into battle and then turning back halfway through the fight. So anyhow, those are the things that I've been wanting to bring forward to you, and try to get some content here, so you guys can get a little bit of background story and stuff, and we'll get into a lot more things later. I hope it's not too mundane and boring, but I'll tell you, the stories that I've heard over the years, people being honest and true and speaking from the heart, that's who's helped me the most, I think, in humbling me, and allowing me into their world and into their hearts and stuff like that, to see that things are, some people have it a lot worse, and you can't compare yourselves, but you know, look to the good things in your life and be grateful and have gratitude for that, and humble yourself enough to know that we're very fortunate just to be spinning on this big universe, and there's a higher power at work here, whether we want to admit it or not. Whatever that is for you, it's up to you. You have to decide that, not me. But yeah, there is definitely something. We're just a little minuscule speck of dust, on this great big planet. If I don't exist tomorrow on this planet, the world will go on. Everybody will go on, and that's fine. I put things in perspective these days, and it's not to be depressing or anything. It's just to show you how beautiful the things really are, and that the Broken Halo name for the channel. I just love the idea of it, that I've known all these angels throughout my life who have assisted me, who have felt very broken in their own lives, but they would give me the help, the time, the ear to listen to, and they're angels who are walking amongst us all the time, who feel like they're broken, but they're maybe just misguided. Everybody is suffering in some way or form, and it's understanding that you're beautiful. Loving yourself for who you are is a key component to happiness for me, and that's where I had to get to, is trying to love this person right here, and having that self-respect and caring for me and empathy for me as well as everyone else, and spreading that kindness in the meantime. So anyhow, I'm going to take off here, and I hope you guys had a great day. Be kind to one another, and I'll get back to you soon.